All right, so we talked about how difference from and percent difference from can be a great way to analyze time series data. One thing that I want to call out before we move on is the fact that the difference from calculations use what's called positional references, meaning that these calculations are specifically based on the structure and order of these relative fields, genre and years. And because they use positional references, it does limit some of the sorting options that I otherwise would have had. So for genre, if I wanted to sort these descending by gross revenue, I'm no longer able to do that because I'm using custom calculations, in this case my difference from and percent difference from calculations that use positional references. So when you run into this error, it may limit you from doing some of the sorting options that you could have done otherwise. So you may need to do any sorting that you need to before applying or adding these custom calculations. So moving on, the next show values as calculation that I want to show is another one that's very, very good at analyzing time series data, and that's called running total and percent running total. So it operates very similar to the difference from calculations. In fact, I can just right-click column D, and instead of showing these as a difference from, I'm going to show these as a running total in, where my base field is years. And when I press OK, you'll see that the first year in the sample, in this case 2012, returns the total revenue for that 1 year. And then the next value, 6.897 billion, is the total of the 2012 revenue plus 2013. And then each line is essentially an iteration of that calculation. So 2014 will add on another 4.857 billion, and so on and so forth. So that this bottom total in my running total calculation will always represent the sum of all of the years in my pivot table view. So in this case, the sum of these 4 years, looking down here in the bottom right, is 15.309 billion, which matches right here, 15.309 billion. And then just like difference from, running total also has a percent variation. So I can change this to percent running total in, base field equal to years, press OK, and there you go. So in each case, it rolls up to 100% for the final year in the sample, and it clearly shows the growth in revenue totals year over year over year. So there you go, running total, percent running total, another great tool to analyze time series data.